As always, please retry this question before watching the video. There are two things you need to know. If you don't know them, please add them to your cheat sheet, master them, and go back 5 before continuing in this video. So first one is I'm going to read you a sentence, and I want you to try to figure out what is wrong with this sentence. I'm going to read you a sentence. I want you to try to figure out what is wrong with the sentence. After preparing for a part for months, the audience waited in anticipation for Sarah to perform. After preparing for a part for months, the audience waited in anticipation for Sarah to perform. See if you can figure out what is wrong with this sentence. What is wrong with this sentence is that what immediately follows the introductory phrase is not what's being modified by the introductory phrase. So after preparing for a part for months, right now the way this is structured, it says the audience prepared for her part for months, because the audience is what immediately follows the intro phrase. But it isn't the audience that prepared for her part for months, it's Sarah that prepared for her part for months. And so this is an intro phrase problem. Anytime you see an introductory phrase, you need to make sure what immediately follows it is what is modified by that introductory phrase. So that brings us to our second part. What rule do you need to consider on confusing sentence questions? And you need to consider the introductory phrase rule, all right, which is just that what immediately follows the introductory phrase must be what is modified. You can word that in whatever way makes sense to you, but that is how you do these. So on confusing sentence questions, you usually just want to make sure that you're choosing the answer that starts with the subject. However, this one, there are two that start with a subject, and so we want to choose the answer that follows the introductory phrase rule. And you always want to be checking the introductory phrase rule on confusing sentence questions. So we know it's a confusing sentence question because each answer is a rearrangement of the same stuff. And so when we look at the intro phrase, raised to a height of 5'6", answer B says the sophomore. So it can't be answer A because you would have an actual noun following the introductory phrase. And so, having a dependent clause marker, conjunction of sorts, subordinate conjunction, that's definitely breaking the introductory phrase rule. So answer B, the sophomore. They didn't raise the height of the sophomore to 5'6", so that is a violation of the introductory phrase rule. The next one has a participle, so this isn't in alignment. We don't even have a noun after the introductory phrase, which is what it's going to modify, and that leaves us with answer D. The bar is what they raised to 5'6", and so this is the only one that doesn't violate the introductory phrase rule and is indeed our correct answer. It also makes sense when you read it. So all these are good indications that you've got the right answer. If this made sense to you, please add it to your worksheet, master it, and then continue on to the next confusing sentence question that you missed on this test. If this is the last confusing sentence question you missed on this test, please go ahead and do the confusing sentence mastery until you get 10 questions correct in a row before coming back and doing the next category that you missed the most of.